What's going on, you guys? Welcome back to another portfolio update. In this video, I'm going to take you through all the moves from today. I bought stock, sold stock, made some options moves, and bought some crypto as well. So definitely a pretty jam-packed video. If you guys could smash the like button, that's the main thing that would help me grow this little channel. So I would really appreciate that. All right, so we had a nice 2.3% move for a $5,854 move to the green today. Today's movers, we got Amazon up 2.6, Tesla up 2%, Microsoft up 1%, Palantir up almost 14%, Shopify was up 2%, Meta up 1%, and Riot with a nice 7% move. Cash is now sitting, went from 0 to 9,295. And that is because first thing I did today was sell out of Enphase. So I sold the last 100 shares for 10,295. Enphase was like really one of the only stocks that was down today in the entire market. And so one of the only reasons I was holding on to Enphase was because I still have some covered calls on it, but pretty much most brokerages besides Robinhood, you can still sell the shares. That does create a naked option, but I know how to handle that risk, and so I'm willing to do that. So sold the last 100 shares, so I'm now completely out of Enphase. I also bought 22 shares of Shopify for $1,496. Two reasons. Number one was just looking at the Shopify chart here. We bounced off the 50 moving average on Friday, and so that's one of my just DCAs that I like to do is make sure it bounce off of a major support. And then as long as it does, I go ahead and DCA there. I don't just, if it just, breaches the support of the moving average and keeps going lower, I don't just tell myself, well, okay, it's beneath the 50 moving average, time to buy some shares. So at least for the moment, it has bounced off that support, and so I decided to add just a little bit. The second reason why I did that was because if we go over here and look at my Shopify position, actually, it'll be over here. So let's look at the actual account. So right here, I own 465 shares. So I'm trying to build that to 500. That way I can sell an additional covered call, even though most of the times I'll sell these in batches of 5 calls at a time, even though I'm not at 500 shares, because I know that in a worst case scenario, I could just buy an additional, 30 shares or whatever, 35 shares, and make that complete. That way, if those shares got called away, I wouldn't be in a bad situation. So just looking to build that to 500, so I added those 22 shares today. And then I did go ahead and sell 3 calls on those shares, collected $412, chose the 73 strike, which was my last strike before I closed this last week. So I'm just reloading on the 73 strikes. Only did 3 this time, even though I have almost 500 shares. And that's because it's something I'm going to start implementing more of, is not writing calls on all of the shares that I own, just so I'm able to continue, if I'm wrong and it continues to go up, I'm just going to continue to sell more and more calls. That way it doesn't hurt me from an appreciation standpoint. So that's what I'm going to be doing there. Let's see. All right, so let's look quickly. Actually, let's go to the main Robinhood portfolio. Got which was up 8% today, which was nice. Got the Celsius calls that were up 9% today. And then, so it's still down 23% on that. And then Ethereum was really what carried this portfolio today. So up 12% and a little bit more in the after hours. So that was a $581 move, still down 15%. But as we see, it just takes a small move in Ethereum, and this is going to go up and erase that 15% move, or that 15% negative. So that's that. Okay, now let's look at quickly the options, and then I'll tell you what I bought in crypto. So the expiring options, we got the Tesla 230 calls, which are up 62%. Those expire this week, so just letting those go. Just put the Shopify calls on. Riot still don't have any calls yet. So Palantir, let's talk about this, because this kind of irritated me. So I had these 32 calls right here, which were up like 41% on Friday. And then the S&P inclusion news happened, and now these are down 164%. And I'm mad at myself because I had no idea that Friday was when this S&P potential inclusion was going to happen. I watched Garcia's video, I think last Thursday, and he said, I don't want to hold that, he said he didn't want to hold any calls, if possible, into that news, obviously because of the possible expectation of that news. But he didn't mention that that was going to be the next day. So still my fault, but I don't follow, Palantir or many of these stocks all that closely to know that. So it would have been nice because I would have had 500 shares unencumbered that I could have wrote some calls on today instead of being massively underwater. But that's my fault for not keeping up with it. And, so I'll have to roll those 32 calls, probably tomorrow or the next day. But I think I'll be able to roll out of those eventually. So just kind of a minor annoyance there, but definitely my fault. What else? Intel, we have the $18 puts that are down. Enphase, the 110 calls now are looking pretty good. Now the Enphase is at 103. So that's looking good. That expires on the 20th. Celsius, little rebound, still way down on these 43 puts. So I have to roll those, and then still have 100 shares of Amazon unencumbered. Waiting for that to hit like 180 before I sell another call on that one. And then lastly, crypto is having a really nice bounce today. So we briefly touched 100,000, but we're back down to 99,300. So these are the type of returns, even on a little Bitcoin pump. We have, it actually came down a little bit, but we had, a lot of these were up 10, 11%, but still it's nice to see some green in crypto. So I added $2,000 to Aerodrome Finance. I added $1,500 to Render. That was my moves in crypto for today. So this portfolio is actually over 100 now, not because of appreciation, but just due to me adding to those. Still have the plan to move out of Ethereum when it gets back to when this position gets back to probably 9,300, somewhere in there, and then move that into either some of these coins or put it into the little Robinhood and just go into the 2x Ethereum ETF at that point. But this portfolio is looking good. Now have the 10,000 from Enphase that I could possibly use for this if need be, and then also the 10,000 that will be coming from Riot when that gets back to my break even around $9. So still have some nice cash to deploy here if need be. But if this was the bottom today, then I don't think it is. But if it is, then that's fine with me. Bags are packed. So that was all for today. If you guys have any comments, as always, drop them down below. I'll see you guys on the next one. And as always, take care and God bless.